Alright, good afternoon everybody. I hope you can hear me. We are in Iceland, in the beautiful town of Hofn at the Bravo India Hotel November. It's the first time that I am going to stream with a Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we are flying in the community modded DA40 from a Diamond aircraft. That has been modded by the community to fly and perform more like it performs in real life, and based on my initial tests, it's really flying nicely, and thanks to Microsoft Flight Simulator, we will also have quite realistic and nice looking scenery. There is also at least 2 other people flying with us today, so it's not gonna be a lonely flight. And the plan for the flight is touch and goes at 3 airports along the Eastfjords region of Iceland, and then we will fly to Eglisstadir, which is our final destination for the day. The weather conditions are VFR but quite marginal, which should be fine for the first 3 airports because they are along the coast, but to get to Egilsstadir, and my pronunciation here might not be the best one, we also have to fly through a small mountain pass, so there we will see how the weather is. Worst case scenario, I will switch from real life weather to clear skies in the simulator, which is allowed for this VFR flight tour of Iceland, because notoriously the weather on Iceland is not always really good for flying, and this way it's easier to accomplish this tour. So we'll just set up. I have a Sky Demon on my iPad in front of me, so that helps us in navigation, and I will be using the real life checklist of DA40, well, as far as real life checklist found on the internet goes. But let's start things up. So we'll assume that the external inspection was completed, so the pre-flight check is completed, baggage and tow bars are secured, fuel valve is in the normal position, the parking brake is set, the power lever is at idle, the alternate air is closed, the electronic master switch is off, the avionics master is off, essential bus is off, alternate static port is closed, the engine master is off, the water switch is on auto. A water switch here is not modeled, so we'll not deal with that. That's the only thing that's not really modeled for now. Fuel pumps are all off, the light switches are all off, the emergency switch is off and guarded here, the ELT is armed, the circuit breakers are all in. They are also not modeled in this, but they're all in. The flap selector is up, the pitot heat and the fuel transfer are all off. Then we can turn on the electric master. Take away the warning, press the button, we are loaded in, and then set our burrow. We are basically on sea level. There you go, so it's around 1005. The QNH. And with Microsoft Flight Simulator, the real weather is a bit tricky. It's not like in Explain was, where locally it's always matching the METAR reports. Microsoft Flight Simulator uses more of a combination of a weather model from MeteoBlue, but these weather models close to real time more or less really match the observations. But that way, the METAR, like for example from Sky Demon, so the real life METAR will always be a bit off. So for example, if I now check what's the METAR for Hofn, in real life the pressure is 1007 hectopascals, but here you see that I have to set 1005 to be at the actual altitude. So clearly the model is tiny bit off, but these are the only differences. And of course the wind is going to be a tiny bit different than in real life, but on a large scale these things should match. Okay, so seatbelts are fastened, rear door are closed, front canopy is closed, G1000 is powered and acknowledged. We check our fuel, and we have full fuel, but the display is only 14. We don't have full fuel, so we'll set full fuel. I thought I already said that. We'll set up to full fuel, and only me has 75 kilograms in the seat. Good, so now we can see that it's only displaying 14 gallons because it has an extra tank, but there is no fuel measure in the extra tank, so until the fuel quantity goes down to 14 gallons, it's never displayed. So we'll only start seeing a decrease in fuel when we have used up, let's say 20 minus 4, 6 at 12 gallons at least. Okay. Then the fuel temperature is okay, there is nothing bad about that. Total time in service 7.2 hours, you would write that down in our flight log. Power level is idle and the strobe lights go on, and now we can start the engine. So first the propeller area is clear, so prop clear. Engine master goes on, and that's normal. Warnings go away. Glow indicator is off now, then start key can go to start. Alright, we have a good start, 710 RPM, that's normal. Oil pressure, we have immediately seen that go into the green, that's in the green. We can check the electrical load on the system page. Here we look at the amps. For example, if I put the pitot heat on, it glows. If I put the position lights higher, text lights higher, landing lights higher, so that's normal. Position lights we leave on, pitot heat goes off for now. And then we also turn the avionics master on, and the caution is thus not a problem for now. Okay. And after engine starts, the oil pressure was checked. The RPM is at 710 plus minus 30. That's correct. Circuit breakers are all in. Pitot heat, we checked that. Avionics master is on. Good. Then for the FMS setup, we could set up our route here in the G1000, but since I'm flying with Sky Demon, we are not going to do that. And hi Bas, thanks for being here for at least a short while. Alright, so the FMS setup, we don't do it now because I'm flying with Sky Demon. We test the autopilot, and for that we press the disconnect button. So my joystick, we see that there is no movement on the trim wheel. Then we put the autopilot on, and we disconnect again. That's disconnecting, that's good. And now we set the trim for takeoff already. The autopilot test is completed. The floodlights we have checked, we don't need anything on. The position light is on. Then we check the flaps, so a full travel for the flaps. Flaps, takeoff, flaps, landing, then see if it also comes back. Okay, full travel is checked. Then we go to takeoff position and then check if our controls are free. Left up, right down, right up, left down, and also from the outside because it's difficult to see inside. Okay, so all the controls are free. The transponder can go to 7000 because we are VFR in uncontrolled airspace. Code 7000, and for now standby. Of course, when we enter the runway, it will go to alt. The altimeters are checked and set. The standby horizon is checked. The transponder is checked. Engine temperatures are all in the green already. Not yet. So we have to wait still a bit. And we will then release later the parking brake. Okay, so everything is fine. I am going to quickly go back to the internal radio that we have with a few other pilots to be able to talk to them. Alright, hello guys, are you ready for departure?
Affirm. It's with a backtrack on 36.
No, we can just leave directly out on the 18. There is not much wind as far as I'm aware.
Okay, I'm in the Kavok situation by now.
Okay, I'm in the real life weather, and there is a tiny bit of wind from 160, so in any case 18 is the best, and then we don't have to backtrack. Okay, I can go first if that's fine.
Go ahead.
Okay, just need 1 more minute. My coolant temperature is still yellow, but it's on the edge of green. So just a tiny bit. And we don't need to write things on Unicom because there is nobody here, of course, on IVAO, so I think we should be fine.
Yeah, roger.
Okay, I'm just going to roll, and we'll still do a run-up on the runway, but it's very short, so it shouldn't take a while. Okay, sir.
I will go in third position.
Taxi light is
Okay, Hank.
on, and then let's roll. Okay, a bit of power. Okay, brake check. Okay. Left is clear. Okay, and here with the TA40 you need to taxi with differential braking at slow speeds because there is no nose wheel control with the rudder, so there is a free coastering nose wheel. Okay, we are entering the runway, so let's taxi lights are on. Let's put our exponder to alt. Good. Line up. Maybe on the center. Okay, parking brake is on. And then the doors are closed, warning lights are off, circuit breakers are in, elevator trim is set for takeoff, flaps are in takeoff position and visually also confirmed. Light controls are still cool and free. Okay. The power lever is at idle. And then we check our instruments. Altitude is 0, airspeed is 0, the horizon is okay. And now we do an ECU test, which you simply do by pressing this button. And then you can see that the RPM goes up, then a bit down, and then up again. And then we are testing the ECU A first, and then the same test is done for the ECU B. So there are 2 different ECU systems which are tested like this automatically. And the test is passed. Then the pitot heat goes on, the fuel pump goes on, landing lights go on, and that's normal that the oil pressure is slightly in the yellow. So pitot heat is required, transponder is on alt, fuel pumps on, and then we can take off. Oscar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa taking off runway 18 and departure to the east. And then first quickly still check power is available. Okay, then we can go for the takeoff. Alright, let's keep that center line with the rudder. Airspeed is alive. And I forgot here what the value is on. Rotate at 62. Rotate, and initial climb is with 72 knots.
Oscar Kilo Delta Bravo lining up running 18.
Okay, and at 500 feet we'll turn to the left.
Oscar Kilo Delta Bravo taking off, runway 18.
Okay, 500 feet, then speed check, flaps up. We go to climb power, which is 92%, and we can pitch to 88 knots. and the fuel pump goes off and the landing lights go off, and we can make our turn to the left.
Oscar Victor Mike is lining up runway 1.
And we will just follow the coast. Let's try climbing till 1500, because I think the clouds are at 2000 feet here. We don't want to go too high, definitely not into the clouds, because then we risk icing. It's quite cold here, -2 degrees. And engine parameters are also in the green, we checked that.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is taking off runway 1.
Maybe we can also climb to 2000 to see how the clouds are. Yeah, that's 2008. I don't want to go too close to the clouds. Okay. Let's gain some speed and then set back to cruise power. Okay, let's do cruise setting of 70%. And then trim. Let's stay at 1008. I'm staying at 1800 feet for now because of the clouds a bit higher.
Okay, I will simulate that also at 1800.
And for now, I'll just put on the autopilot so I can talk easier. But let's stay on altitude 1008. 1008, then vertical speed down a bit. Okay, and then let's do heading mode. Okay, heading, and we are going to be at 1800 feet. So in real life this is a really nice place. I've been here when we did our road trip in Iceland. This is one of the famous locations where you can see all the photographs taken from Iceland. You can come out on this road, and then there is this black sand beach with very nice, much more rocky mountains than here. The mesh is not as detailed as in real life, of course. There is like tall grass in the foreground, very nice pictures you can take. Okay, let's have a quick look from outside. And there are the two other guys. Nice. Let's do a screenshot. Alright. And then we can take our turn to the left. Should be around 62. We can now do this with the autopilot just to test this too. So heading 062, oops, 062. Alright, so indeed there is not much wind. There are only 2 knots from the side and 2 knots from the front. But yeah, this looks so much nicer, the next plane. I mean, of course,
I am turning behind this hill at 2100 feet.
I'm a little bit higher, 2,900 feet. I did put on my TCAS just to be sure. You're 900 feet and 1100 feet below me.
Okay.
I can also see both of you behind. It's really nice with the lights.
It will be nice to watch the movie afterwards.
Yeah, the scenery is really amazing, I have to say.
I'm already very curious to the movie.
I was here in Iceland in 2015.
Did you do a road trip?
Yes, 1 week with the touring car, the whole island around for the touristic purpose. Very nice.
I was there 2 years ago for 13 days, also a road trip around the whole island. It was also extremely nice.
I was not on a glacier, such things was not included, but yeah, we see a lot of things.
It's also really nice how in the Flight Simulator the snow cover is simulated. So it's really realistically done depending on how much snow it's in the real world. So if one day it snows a lot, then the next day you can really see it in the simulator.
Nice.
So for the first touch and go, it's going to be get there in like 12 minutes, I think. It's Bravo India Delta Victor QP Vokur or something like that. My Icelandic pronunciation is not the best. But we can basically almost do a straight in approach. But I will just fly a bit more to the middle of the downwind and then really take the turn to join left-hand downwind for the runway. And then after the touch and go, just immediately a right turn to climb out, so I will not come back to the circuit because then it's bothering for the people behind me.
So runway 17.
No, runway 35.
Runway 35. Okay.
Yeah, because now there is basically zero wind, so it's better if we do it in this direction. Also, when we go more to the south, then always landing from the sea is better.
Yes.
And it's actually very difficult to get any information for these tiny airfields because in the AAV there is basically nothing besides their length. So there is no like circuit direction or whatever. But for example, for this first airport, it says that only one airplane arrived at the time because there is no apron. So it's only the landing strip. There is nothing else. You cannot even take your plane off the landing strip.
With only 3 aircrafts a year, that must be sufficient.
Yeah, probably. But for Hofn, where we took off, there is indeed a set circuit. So the circuit for the direction where we took off would have been right hand, because they want to keep the circuit on that side of the peninsula. And also in Eglisstadir, so in the where we go for the destination, the circuit is right hand for runway 22. We will land on the runway. I will see runway 04 is what I'm planning, and then that has a left hand. But we'll talk about that when we are getting there.
Okay.
I'm in third position now.
Okay. I am seeing some very slight icing, so I will go a bit lower and probably too close to the bottom of the clouds. And just as I said it, all the icing signs have disappeared, so hope it's gonna be okay, although on my wing I can still see a bit. So I'm still just gonna go down to 1500 to be safe. While I experimented with the flight simulator, I've noticed that icing can form extremely fast, and then when it can go away quite fast from the windshield, it stays quite long on the wing, so it's a bit dangerous to have that. I also went into full icing on one of my test flights, and indeed the airplane lost quite a lot of its lift capabilities.
Okay, so that is very nicely simulated then.
Yes, it is. Right, let's make a right left turn to 037.
I think for VFR also the plane capabilities, the simulator is very nicely done.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with this modded DA40, all the numbers quite match what's in the aircraft manual. I'm very happy with that because I like to fly these planes in the simulator by really getting the real life checklifts and the AFM and then read how it's in real life, and I like to see the same numbers, so I'm very happy with that.
I never flew a DA40 in real life, but it's very smooth, huh?
Yeah, I also never flew a DA40. That would be the next plane at my flight school, but I'm still not flying because now they restarted the training with the instructors, but only for people who have the commercial training as a goal, and I only have the PPL training as a hobby, so still have to wait. But so that would be after the Sonica 200s. The next level is the DA40 when they fly with that.
Nice. I only flew the Piper 28.
Yeah, so mid like Bas too.
Yeah, at the same school in fact.
Ah, okay.
I'm reducing the speed a little bit so Peter can go again first.
Have you overtaken us?
I'm to the left side, close to the hill.
Haha, I see you actually if you look left. Nice! Ah, it's a really cool picture. I'm going to take a screenshot.
What's your indicated airspeed, guys?
120.
117.
Okay, mine is 125, but I'm still a little bit far behind now.
Maybe I'll take an orbit to the left or something.
Okay. Okay, so the airport is going to be there. Well, airport. The gravel landing strip. Okay, but I see that the ice is going away from the wind too. I can also see that the ice is disappearing from my wing, luckily.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is orbiting to the left.
Oscar Papa Sierra Papa has the aircraft inside who is orbiting to the left. Right, let's prepare our approach procedure for the descent. Our altimeter is hopefully still correct. There is no flight information service, so we cannot do anything about it. We put our fuel pumps on, we put our text lights on. They were not off, so now text lights are on. And we don't need fuel transfer yet because they are still more or less equal. Of course, there is some usage from the left-hand tank already, but we cannot see it because it has not dropped below 14 gallons. And we are going to go a bit to the left, and now we disconnect the autopilot because I want to join in the middle of the downwind. And it's runway 35. And let's descend a bit, decelerate and descend. Oscar Papa Sierra Papa is going to join the middle of left-hand downwind, runway 35 for Tango. And that's the landing strip. Should have, of course, done this a bit earlier so we don't really fly against the potential traffic here in downwind. Okay, so for landing flaps we have the limit of 110 and we would like to be at 1000 feet when we make our turn to the downwind. And that's the strip.
Oscar Kilo Delta Bravo also joining middle of left-hand downwind, runway 35, number 2.
Okay, let's zoom landing. No, takeoff flaps. Takeoff flaps, okay.
Mike Yankee is orbiting for the second time and is descending to 1000 feet.
So we are going to be basically at the end of the downwind after this turn. We are at 1000 feet, so that's good. Okay, there is no wind mostly. Okay, position is good, brakes are available, fuel pump is on. We have already slowed down enough, flaps are in takeoff. Okay. Our next is going to be turning base, don't descend too much until that. Oscar Papa Sierra Papa turning base, runway 35 to Tango. Of back pressure, don't descend yet. Okay, speed is check. Flaps landing. Power around 35 for now, and then we can start descending. Our approach speed is around 75 knots. Okay, I have traffic inside of behind us. Okay, let's turn final. A tiny bit overshot, but maybe we are getting a bit too low, so... Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, final runway 35, touch and go.
And Oscar Delta Bravo turning base, runway 35, touch and go.
Okay, lining up, there is not much wind, so the sea is very, very flat. We are quite low.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee will join middle of left-hand downwind runway 35.
Okay, so this approach is a bit shallower than it should be, but our speed is good. There is no turbulence. There is a bit of tailwind.
Oscar Delta Bravo turning final, runway 35, touch and go, number 2.
Landing lights are on, flaps are landing, and the brake is off.
Oscar Delta Bravo has number 1 in sight.
Okay, round of power. Oops, that was a bit early. Okay, flaps up, full power, right rudder, rotate. Yeah, okay. Then we go till 500 feet and then to the right.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is down left-hand downwind runway 35 and number 2 in sight.
Okay, 400 above, that means speed check, flaps up, climb power set at 92, landing lights off and fuel pumps off. And we can make our turn to the right, bank limit to 20 because we are still quite slow. Oh, okay. I thought something's going to crash, nothing crashed. And we just follow the coast as before. Okay, and 88 knots is the goal for the climb.
Oscar Delta Bravo is on upwind, runway 35.
Nice, you can see both of the
Oscar Victor
guys
Mike
behind
Yankee
us.
is on final runway 35.
And I will stop the climb again at Hi Steph, nice to see you in the chat. Thanks for joining. Alright, and we'll stop the climb at 1500 again, because I don't want to get into icing. Yeah, right, 1500, leveling off. And as we gain speed, we can lower the pitch and trim the aircraft and set 70% for our cruise and just put back the autopilot for now, and then heading is set and altitude is not 1600, 1500, thank you. Okay, nice. Let's have a look behind us. Maybe to the right we can still see something. No, it's too much behind. So we have to use the drone camera.
wind, runway 35.
Okay, so the next airport is just in the next valley, more or less the same situation. Actually don't know the exact runway numbering because it's not in Sky Demon, but it's more or less the same direction. A bit more to the north, so no, a bit more to the southwest. So we'll do the same kind of landing direction. But then after the touch and go, it might be wise to follow a full left-hand circuit and climb high. So make a straight-in approach. Don't join in the middle of the downwind, but make a straight-in approach. And then after the touch and go, follow a normal left-hand circuit, but climb higher, and then go on further along the route.
Okay, Roger.
The next one is going to be Bravo India Bravo Victor, and it is somewhere in there, probably. I cannot yet see. I think it's there, so maybe it's a snowy runway, and then we will only make, well, we can also make a touch and go, assuming that it's not too deep snow, and since it's a simulator, we'll do that. Okay, then we can already descend, we can still stay here, and then we'll just do an approach from this height. So we do a straight in, and then climb back to 1005, and then avoid traffic. And these clouds are indeed a bit lower than it would be comfortable. So you'll see how it goes further along the coast. Okay, now I'm already visual with the field. Okay, let's start descending slowly. Fuel pump on, taxi lines are still on.
What field is it exactly?
It is Bravo India Bravo Victor.
Oh yeah, Breidelsvik or something.
Yeah, that's how I would have said it too.
4.35 nautical miles. That's the handy stuff on Microsoft Flight Simulator, eh?
Ja. Okay, we need to slow down.
Henk, bij ons staat er zo'n vlaggetje precies in onze simulator. Dat de exacte plaats van de luchthaven aanduidt.
Ah ja, maar ik volg in Little Nap map.
Ah ja, oké, dat is ook nog handig.
I also turned off all these visual clues, so I'm only just looking at the G1000 and the Sky Demon. I've turned off all these labels in the simulator. And Oscar Papa Sierra Papa is on a long final for runway 3 something, sorry. Okay, but we definitely...
Oscar Delta Bravo is following in sequence number 1 in sight.
Okay, then takeoff flaps. And landing lights on. Flaps. Need to slow down more for landing flaps. Okay, Okay, landing flaps a bit more power because this is going to be a lot of drag. Landing flaps, landing lights, and brakes are off. We are again a bit low. Okay, this is gonna be okay. Still a bit fast. Snowy runway. Quick screenshot.
Oscar Kilo Delta Bravo is performing a right orbit for spacing.
Okay, flaps up, full power. Uh-oh.
Cornel, een little navmap zie ik u niet. Zou dat kunnen zijn? Transponder mode chart.
Ja, dat kan.
This is not good.
Ik ga ze eens checken.
Okay, Oscar Papa Sierra Papa is unable to vacate the runway because it was too snowy and we couldn't accelerate. So please go around until we figure out the situation.
Okay, Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is orbiting on the sea.
Oscar Delta Bravo is going around.
Let's see. Flaps are up. The pump is still on. Why don't we have power? We have power, okay. Then what's the best to do in the flight simulator in this case?
And Oscar Delta Bravo squawking mode Charlie now.
Yes, you are on the radar in little navmap. Thank you.
Okay, maybe I can go on the grass to the side and then take off. Okay, can try that. Oscar Papa Sierra Papa will attempt to roll to the grassy part of the airfield from the snow and then see if we have acceleration there. We will advise. Okay, let's see. That's an unexpected situation. Okay, we actually have quite some acceleration here.
Oscar Delta Bravo is on beginning of left-hand downwind. Runway 3 something.
That's strange. Here we accelerated.
The runway is 30.
Merci Henk.
Oscar Papa Sierra Papa will attempt taking off runway 12. Please stay away from the axis of the runway.
Oscar Delta Bravo is extending downwind runway 30, 1,100 feet.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is orbiting at 1,000 feet
Why
above the
don't
sea.
we have power? Okay, power. Power is set. Okay, let's try.
Oscar
moving to
Delta
the
Bravo
side.
turning left-hand base, runway 30.
Flaps takeoff. That's a bit of a cheating. Okay, airspeed alive. We are gaining speed. Rotate. Oscar Papa Sierra Papa is airborne. We will stick to the left hand, to the northern part of the valley while we climb out.
Roger.
Roger, Oscar Delta Bravo turning final, runway 30.
And we have the traffic inside. Okay, when I press tab, I lose control. Ooh, that's not good. Okay. Okay, we have 500 above, flaps up, climb power, fuel pump off, landing lights off, and we are still in alt mode, so that's good. Okay, so the issue was that clearly there is a function assigned in my flight simulator to the tab, which I'm using also as a push-to-talk key on Discord, and for some reason I've lost actually some control, and that control was the power control. That's strange. I will have to experiment.
Oscar Delta Bravo is on upwind runway 30.
Oops, interesting. Okay. Okay, 1005, don't climb further. Power to 70%. Flaps are up.
Oscar Delta Bravo is on left-hand downwind runway 30 and climbing, passing 900 feet.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee will join left-hand downwind runway 30.
Vertical speed.
Oscar Delta Bravo
Okay.
coming over the field, altitude 1400 feet, climbing.
Oops, there is icing again. I have to go down.
Oscar Delta Bravo inside for Oscar Victor Mike.
Okay, not this is fast enough, but we'll stay at 1000 feet. Maybe we can still, no, we'll stay on 1000 feet. 1003, that's okay. Okay, 1003 should be fine enough. Okay, 1003, and level of heading, autopilot, heading, altitude. Okay. And we can turn to 037. Oops, not altitude, heading. 037. Okay, text lights can also go off. Okay, everything is fine.
Oscar Kilo Delta Bravo is orbiting to the right, still climbing, passing 2500 feet.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is final runway 30. Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is on the low pass runway 30.
Can also put the
Oscar Delta Bravo orbiting to the left, passing 3000 feet. overhead the mountains.
Alright, it's still interesting how the weather is going to be towards the next half of the flight.
Mike Yankee is left-hand downwind, runway 30, passing 900 feet.
Alright, so Peter, next thing, heading east.
Yes, we are still heading northeast along the coast, and then there will be the next airport is Bravo India November Foxtrot Nordfjord Tour. And my suggestion is, I have not found real life information. My suggestion is that we land from runway 26, so again from the sea, and then do a right hand pattern and then leave at the end of the downwind. Then again we leave basically, so we fly in along the fjord, and then when we make the touch and go, make a right hand turn and then another right hand turn for the right hand downwind, and then either keep climbing or just stick to the left hand side of the valley, and then there is no chance of having traffic interfere.
Okay.
But it is a few fjords to the northeast, so it's a bit longer distance than the previous stop was. They were very close by. And I actually figured out what the problem was with my touch and go. So for some reason my push to talk button on Discord is interfering with my hardware settings. I don't know what exactly, but after I released the last time my tap button, which is the push to talk, I actually lost the control on power, so it's not like I couldn't take off because there was too much snow on the runway, but my hardware power was not translated to actual power in the sim. And after a few times I pressed the tab, it was fine again, and then I could take off. But so that was the strange and not yet tested part, because I have not yet flown with Flight Simulator 2020 while on Discord. So now I know it. I will put my push to talk for the next time to another button.
Good to know.
Like the clouds are a bit higher, but I wouldn't dare putting much money on it. Should also go a bit more to the right, so you'll get too close to these mountains. So let's do like 10 degrees to the right, 045. Can I also put like TCAS on this map? No, only radar. The radar is a bit let's say not so amazing in Flight Simulator 2020, because it shows more the clouds and not the rain, so it's difficult. Not very useful, honestly. Okay, so our destination is Eglisstadir is here, and the next airport is going to be here, I think. Yeah, it's there. We will have to go around here and come in straight in, and then do the right hand, then come around, and then actually the next valley is the safest to try to go. Or we fly back here, and there to the, even there it's not very high, the clouds are not very high, so we might have to change weather from real life to Kaboke for the landing. We'll see. See behind us the other guys, if they are visible. Yeah, they are there. Nice. go away a bit. Zoom in. Yeah, so they are there. There is Hank and there is Cornel, I think. Nice.
We have no bit more separation, I think 6 miles or something.
Yeah, it's a bit more comfortable. Especially for approach and touch and go.
Yes.
Here it seems like the clouds are a bit higher, but like again, they're up in the sea, they seem to be a bit lower. Difficult to tell, like here they are already at the top of these mountains, and that peak is at 2,756 feet based on the Sky Demon. The clouds might be at around 2,000, 2,500. Probably fine enough to go back to 1,500, so let's do that. 1,005, let's do vertical speed, and let's go up, and then let's put the power to a bit higher setting, not lose much speed. Normally there in real life there is a light tower, that's how it's called in English, and then the next valley is where the airfield is, so you'll already turn that way. Oops. It should be at to the north exactly. Okay, 359er. There is not much wind, tiny bit of headwind.
So after the next fjord, Peter, it's a steep turn to the left, right?
A firm.
You're also at 1,500 feet something?
Yeah, I'm at exactly at 1,500 feet. In my simulator I estimate that the cloud base is now at around 2,000, 2,500 feet based on how high they are going on the mountains, but it's changing. I'm not sure how it's gonna be for the crossing to the last airport. There I might have to change the weather to Cabo Cape but I will see. But as long as I can, I will try to stick with the real weather.
And explain, I can't change it to Kavak during the trip.
Yeah, I know, but here I can. It's quite nice. Quite nice. You would not do that normally, but as a feature, it's quite nice that without pausing the simulator, you can change the day of time or the weather. It's, I mean, to play around with things, it's cool.
Nice.
I'm almost at the point, this like long ridge before turning towards the airfield. So it's gonna be a straight in approach again, and then right hand turn after the touch and go to leave the fjord.
Okay.
And you turn after the mountain and not over it,
A firm. Nice. It's pretty frozen. Okay. And it's going to be the... I think it's there. Probably. Yeah, it's there. It's gonna be there. Okay, let's slow down already a bit. There is again icing, damn it. To go lower. Stick to 1,000 feet. Okay, so that's the airfield. It's again gonna be snowy. Okay, let's slow down. Oscar Papa Sierra Papa is on a 2-minute final to runway 26 touch and go. Okay, still have power control, so that's okay. And in real life I don't think these fjords get frozen in. Takeoff flaps, taxi lights on. Fuel pumps on, sorry, fuel pump on. Brakes are available. Okay, let's slow down further. Landing flaps, landing lights. Parking brake is off.
Oscar Kilo Delta Bravo is proceeding in sequence, turning long final runway 26.
Quite some. There's 4 knots of crosswind and 1 knot of headwind. And a very snowy runway. Hopefully we'll not have issues again with taking off. Bit low. We're on the bottom of the power curve, so quite a lot of power needed to stop our sink rate and still keep the speed. Okay. And now let's do a nicer touch than the previous ones. That was not good. Flaps up. Flex takeoff. Power is set. rotate. Well, that was really not a nice touch and go. They're a bit slow. Maybe there's still ice on the wings. Yes, that's why it was not going so well. Let's go a bit to the left so we can make a proper turn to the right when necessary.
Oscar Delta Bravo is on 2 miles final, runway 26.
Okay, flaps up, climb power set. Fuel pump off, landing lights off. And if there is enough space, not yet.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee
wait a
is
bit for the
turning
turn.
long final, runway 26 at 1000.
Yeah, this approach was pretty wide out. Couldn't see much. That's why it was so difficult to tell what altitude I was at. Okay, let's make our turn. There is enough space for that now, hopefully. Ah, plenty of space. And stick to the left hand side. Yeah, okay. Good. And we'll only climb to 1000 feet because we've seen it was not very safe higher up from the icing. Okay, then cruise power set 70. And let's do autopilot. Heading and altitude. Okay. And a heading a bit more to the right.
Oscar Kilo Delta Bravo, upwind, runway 26.
Oscar Papa Sierra Papa is right and downwind runway 26, leaving the circuit at 1000 feet. With the airplane on final inside. Good.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is on final, runway 26 at 500 feet.
And Oscar Kilo Delta Bravo, beginning of right hand downwind runway 26, leaving the circuit via the east, traffic on final inside.
Weather planes are also visual for me.
Very close to the mountain. You can feel a bit of turbulence coming off. Okay, we can make our turn to the left. Direction 020. Heading 020. Let's use proper words, actually 021. I think I will have to change the weather. I could go around the whole peninsula to the northeast, but that's a lot of time. I don't want to do that. That would have been too much. So we'll take this fjord and then climb up here, pass over a lake, and then make our approach to Eglisstadir. And I will debrief the guys as soon as everybody is out. But yeah, clearly the clouds are too low. Not make it. So in real life that would not work.
Oscar Oscar Victor Mike Yankee, it's right hand downwind, runway 26.
Let's see behind. Done.
Oscar Oscar Kilo Delta Bravo heading 036, altitude 2600 feet, and has the Oscar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa in sight.
Yep, just behind us. Okay. Okay, now we will switch to real weather, I think. Okay, actually, sim brief is telling me that I'm at 1080 feet, so probably the pressure has changed a bit already. Okay, maybe then a quick debrief on our approach to Eglisstadir. So we take the second fjord to the left after we all left the fjord of the previous airport. We'll have to climb quite high relatively high to pass through the ridge of the mountains. So I will probably have to switch to Cavoke weather because I think my clouds are too low. But then we will fly overhead the field of Eglisstadir and then join left hand downwind to runway 04. And I will do that. I fly overhead, then make a right turn, and basically after a 270 degree turn join the left hand downwind. That's the way to make the turn, to always keep the airport in sight. But the main point is overhead the airfield and then join left hand downwind runway 04.
Okay.
Roger.
is the next turn.
So we should turn into the fjord now, huh?
Yes, I'm just making my turn to the fjord.
I have you in sight. I'm 900 feet above you.
I am already climbing up to 4,000 feet to climb over the hills.
I'm just going to change my weather now and then also start climbing. Okay, weather. Let's do clear skies. Oops, okay. And then the pressure is probably standard if we do clear skies, indeed. Well, that's where I am based on sim brief too. It's a bit of a pity that I had to change that, but okay. And that's where we have to pass. Okay. Let's go manual, fully climb power again. And then let's climb higher. Let's set the altitude to 3,000 feet. And that also to 1013. 1013. Okay. And then we can climb much faster. Oscar Papa Sierra Papa is on heading to 80, climbing to 3000 feet.
Oscar Kilo Delta Bravo heading 310, climbing 4000 feet, passing 1006.
I have you in sight. Or that might be Hank.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is at 4000 feet above the sea.
Okay, so the cruise climb should be at 88 knots, so you can go even steeper. And trim because I have a lot of back pressure. Okay, there you go. Okay. Well, it's a pity that I had to change from real weather. And Lima Delta Victor Golf 09 hi is asking what are my computer specs. So I have I will level off and then I will tell you. Just I want to level off at 3000
After
feet.
passing overhead the airfields, are we not too high to descend to the altitude of the circuit?
Yeah, already after we cross the mountains, you should descend to 1500 feet above the airfield. So you should be, when you pass overhead the airfield, you should be 1500 feet above the airfield altitude. And then when you have done your overhead pass, then descend to the 1000 feet above the airfield, which is the pattern altitude, and then join the pattern.
Okay, but the hills are not so far from the airfields, but I think that will happen.
If we cannot lose altitude fast enough, then just circle to the left or right to lose altitude. It's perfectly fine. I also don't know, it's the first time I'm flying here, so we'll see. Okay, the altitude is good. Let's pull back the power because it's a bit too much. 70, let's put the autopilot on. It's gonna be fine for now. And computer specs. I have an i7 9700K processor, I think. I have a GeForce 2070 graphics card, and I have 32 gigs of memory.
Nice to see the valley and the lake in front of me.
Yeah, it's very pretty. I'm also visual with the lake where we have to pass over. So the lake is basically on the highest point of this pass. So those are my computer specs, and I'm running the simulator on basically the default high settings with something set to ultra, and it's running very smoothly. I don't know how it's in the stream. I'm hoping the stream is also quite fluid, but on my simulator everything is very, very smooth. Let's put heading mode so we can also go a bit lower. We can say here we can go to altitude 3000. That's a safe altitude still. And both guys are there behind me, I can see. There, I go a bit further and then zoom in. Then 1 and 2, they are both there. Isn't that pretty? I have to say, with the Cabo K, the seeing is really, really pretty. I mean, the scenery and everything. And also another question, if I have good FPS in the A320. I have to admit that I have not yet tried in the Microsoft Flight Simulator the fly-by-wire A320 mod, because I've been only flying VFR, so I'm still using the X-plane for my IFR flights, so I cannot comment on that, unfortunately. Okay, so Eglisstadir is at what altitude?
Are you still streaming also, Peter?
Yes, I am still streaming.
You have many viewers?
I have 4 viewers exactly.
Wow.
For some reason we are disconnected for a sec. Okay. Let's put these BFDs a bit brighter because I cannot.
I was disconnected for a few seconds.
Me too,
Me too.
exactly the same. And now we reconnected.
Strange.
Really pretty. Okay, so we are checking how where the field altitude is. We'll do runway 04, we'll do left hand circuit, downwind, join 45, exactly. So now I've set the approach in
So 3000 feet is enough to pass the mountain?
A firm, and I checked the airfield altitude is at 76 feet, so the pattern should be at 1100 feet, so we should be overhead at 1600 feet.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do 1600 as a goal, just as a reminder for ourselves. And normally the field is not yet visible. I think the field should be down somewhere there.
The sun is also coming from the left, so it's a little bit tricky.
Indeed. Okay, I will start my initial descent to 1600 because I'm just over the last hump of the terrain. Okay, let's pull back the power a bit and then we can start going down. And there's a preparation. Ah yeah, that's the airfield.
So runway 04 and a right hand pattern, eh?
Runway 04 and left hand pattern. So
Left hand pattern,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Okay, we should really be going down a bit faster. And so I will join the pattern by first flying overhead, then continue flying outwards, then make a right turn 270 and join the downhill like that.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is overhead delay.
And then normally in real life we would check out the windsock, but I've checked and for some reason there is not much windsock visible in the simulator here. It might not exist in the simulator. Okay, and then we are going to pass overhead the field. Oscar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa is passing overhead the field at 1700 feet. We'll descend to 1000 feet and join the left-hand downwind for runway 04 after a 270 rotation to the right. Okay, I again lost control, that's not good. Okay, I have control back. Something with my...
And the Oscar Oscar Kilo Delta Bravo is coming overhead the field 1700 feet, descending, following the Oscar Papa Sierra Papa in sequence.
Okay, so the next goal is 1100 feet, field pumps go on because we are making our descent. Taxi lights are already on. Let's make our turn to the right to join the pattern. And also trim the aircraft a bit. We'll zoom in here so it's more visible what we are doing.
For the 04, we have to backtrack.
Firm, that's indeed true. But you can backtrack immediately when you stop, so it might be the case indeed that it's best to keep some separation before the landing approach.
Okay.
Going a bit low. Oscar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa is just joining the left-hand downwind for runway 04 at 1000 feet. Okay, so that's good. The runway is exactly on our wing. So our direction is good. Altitude is a bit low, so let's not go too low. Park and brakes are available, fuel pumps are on, and we are just beam the threshold, so speed is check and takeoff flaps go down. There is quite some turbulence from the terrain, as we are quite close.
Oscar Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is inbound the airfield, descending to 1500 feet.
And Oscar Oscar Kilo Delta Bravo on left-hand downwind, runway 04, 1300 feet.
And as Bas says in the chat, indeed in real life you would also check the signal area for example, traffic pattern, direction or other information. And for the question if I'm going to switch to Flight Simulator 2020 when it has better airlines, possible. If it has airlines as good as the Tunis in X-Plane, I wouldn't see a reason why I wouldn't switch. Okay, let's turn base. Oscar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, turning base for runway 04, full stop landing. Okay, base we can still turn fast because we are made with a proper angle. Okay, our altitude is perfect. Speed can start going a bit lower because we need to be below 98 knots.
Oscar Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is overhead the airfield at 2000 feet.
Okay, there is basically no wind. And let's start. Speed check, flaps down, power a bit back, and start our descent for landing. It's a very nice possibility in the Microsoft Flight Simulator that you can just look towards the threshold with one press of a button. I really like that. It makes things really realistic. Like in real life, you would also constantly look towards the airfield to check how high you are. Okay, turning final. And as usual, we went a bit too far. Okay, our height is good. Let's just go back to the axis. Speed is good. Oscar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, final runway 04, full stop landing. And landing lights on.
Oscar
Flaps
Kilo
down.
Delta Bravo turning base runway 04, 1,300 feet.
Okay, speed can be a bit less. We are still a bit too high. There is basically zero wind.
Is joining left hand downwind runway 04.
Make a nicer landing than the previous one was. Okay. Bit of turbulent air. Bit fast, but that's okay with small turbulence. Okay, power slowly back, round off. That's good. Okay.
Oscar Delta Bravo 3 miles, final runway 04.
Oscar Papa Sierra Papa is trying to make us fast backtrack, but be prepared to go around.
Oscar Delta Bravo making a right orbit for spacing. A right orbit, 1,200 feet.
Okay, now we have to taxi back. Flaps can go up and fuel pump can go off already.
Oscar Victor Mike Andy is extending downwind runway 04 at 1,000 feet.
Oscar Papa Sierra Papa is backtracking runway 04. Okay, the landing was quite good. Maybe a bit too high when cut back the power fully, so we sank a bit. But okay, this runway
Oscar
is
Kilo
wider than the
Delta
previous
Bravo
ones.
making another orbit to the right, 1,000 feet.
And just have to go beyond the line and then runway is vacated. Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, runway vacated. Okay, then landing
Oscar
lights
Kilo
go
Delta
off.
Bravo on short, final runway 04.
Landing lights off, pitot heat can already go off. And fuel pump is off.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is turning base runway 04.
And the transponder is going to stand by. Let me check, flaps up, pitot heat is off, fuel pumps off, alternate air is closed, and the landing and taxi lights as required. So end of after landing checklist is complete. Let's taxi to a stand. Okay, I'm not exactly sure in real life how a stand would be here, but we'll just taxi towards the guys. Because they are standing
Oscar
there,
Delta
so nice.
Bravo backtracking 04.
I missed his landing. Maybe we can see it for Hank. Okay. And parking brake is set. Taxi lights off, position lights off. Just gonna quickly switch everything. We need to wait 1 minute before we can switch off everything. there is Cornel.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is on final runway 04.
Oscar Delta Bravo 04 vacated.
And there is Hank. I don't know how visible he is on the stream, but there he is coming. That's also a nice thing, this drone camera, I think. Quite like it. It's not the fastest to control sometimes, but let's wait till Hank lands, and then after Hank landed we'll turn off our airplane properly. Alright, Hank is landed. Then let's turn things off.
Oscar Victor Mike Yankee is backtracking runway 04.
There is, everything is okay on the engine page. System page also good. Avionics master goes off. All position light can also go off. Everything basically goes off except for the strobe light. Engine master off. Okay. Strobe lights off and the electric master off. Good. Checklist is complete. Now everything is quiet. Hank should be also coming somewhere. I can see him there. Probably checking the maps out. And thanks for saying nice video stuff. Happy you've been here at least for a while. The only thing Microsoft Flight Simulator really is missing, besides bigger planes now, I mean good bigger planes, is something like the scenery gateway on the X-Plane, where it's very easy to edit sceneries. Now the documentation and the tools to edit airports are not yet so amazing. There are already quite a lot of nice freeware airports and also payware available, so there is quite active development ongoing. But I found the gateway and the word editor in X-Plane a very nice tool.
There we go, guys.
That was a very nice flight.
Alle drie op een rijtje.
Yep. Thanks for flying along. And how did you like Flight Simulator, Cornel?
It's absolutely the max.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I was a bit sad that I had to change back from real weather to Cabo K, but it also looked very pretty on Cabo K, but it would not have been possible to pass over the mountains. We also have drawn a very nice track on WebEye. It's quite cool.
Yeah, nice to see, eh?
Yeah. Well, very nice. Very nice. Hank, did you have fun too?
Yes. And nice to keep each other in sight and so on. Very nice to fly so.
Yeah. All right. I hope you guys will enjoy the rest of the Sunday.
Very much. Thank you.
And see you on our next flight.
Night. See you next time. I switch off. Thank you.
Thanks for organizing, Peter. See you next time.
You're
Bye bye.
welcome.
Ook Henk, salukus.
Salukus iedereen. Okay. So we can basically also switch off. We have finished our checklist. It was a nice flight. I think flying VFR on the actual flight simulator is already something you can do. It's an amazing practice. I will, after I'm done with the tour of Iceland, I will probably do the VFR tour in Belgium, because there is also a lot of nice freeware sceneries available for Belgium. Unfortunately, nothing for Charleroi yet, and I'm also not going to redo my Charleroi scenery that I've done in Explain for Microsoft Flight Simulator, because it's way too much work, and I don't have the time and also don't have the internal motivation anymore to spend so much time on the scenery. I'd rather just fly. But that's really the only thing I'm missing. But I'm sure it will come in time, because Microsoft Flight Simulator is so large compared to Explain that there is so much more, let's say, financial possibility in it. The developers will make all their sceneries for Microsoft Flight Simulator in the future. You can already see that now. There is everything what's new basically is coming out for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I'm sure that at one point maybe Charleroi will also be done, and then we'll see what the quality of that will be. But for all the scenery and the dynamics, I also feel like the flight dynamics themselves, how, for example, Darren creates the turbulences, how the weather is depicted is so much better as in Explain. And yeah, the good study level aircraft will come. Already this community modded DF40 NG is very good. I mean, it feels like it flies like any small airplane. I mean, I can only compare it to the Sonica 200 from real life, but it behaves as it should. It just feels nice. When I first tried Microsoft Flight Simulator in August when it came out, and then things really did not feel right. The ground handling was not okay. The flight model was all over the place. But now everything has improved a lot. So I can only suggest to everybody to give it a try. If you like flying VFR, it's the place to be. For IFR and for big planes, it's not yet, maybe, but I've heard and I've seen a lot about this fly-by-wire mod for the A320, which is supposed to be very nice. Definitely not yet on the level where the Tolis A319 and A321 is, but it's already on a good level. And if you are only flying to enjoy the scenery and be still a bit realistic, then I'm pretty sure flying that A320 Neo in the Microsoft Flight Simulator from the fly-by-wire guys is a good solution. But for VFR, this community modded DA40NG is definitely great. Alright, let's hope we'll have another stream, maybe next weekend. Depends on how the weather on Iceland is and how the weather here is, and if I'm busy. But I'm pretty sure we'll fly again. So thanks for coming, and thanks for anybody who is watching or who has been watching this also after the stream offline. So see you next time, and fly safe.